Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. So we are still talking about writing paragraph number 1. Alright, so in the previous episodes we talked about writing sentences, patterns of sentences, how to write correct and good sentences. Okay, in this episode we are going to start with the first step in writing. Okay, the first step in writing, what is it? It's very simply brainstorming. Okay, brainstorming. So brainstorming comes before writing paragraph, before going to paragraph. So it's better to start with brainstorming, then you go to paragraph. Now, what is brainstorming and what do we do in brainstorming? This is what we are going to see in this episode, okay? All right. So before you go to brainstorming, there is something very important that you have to understand. It is very simply what we call the topic, okay? So last time we talked about some examples of topics, like for instance, school, sexes, family, routine, exercising for instance, party, or friend, etc. So the first thing you have to do is to read and try to understand. So you have to understand the topic, read the topic, understand it. This is number 1. This is something very important. After that, you go to brainstorming. What do we do in brainstorming? Very simply, in brainstorming, you think about what? You think about the topic, okay? Try to think about some ideas, okay, or sentences. So very simply in brainstorming you break the topic into sentences, into ideas, okay, into ideas. So this is what you have to do, okay? You think about the topic and you try to break it into what? Into sentences or into ideas, okay, into ideas. Let's take an example. Take for instance success. This is number 1, okay? Success. How do you succeed in your school? Okay, this is a topic, okay? This is the topic. So you have to understand it. Then you can break this topic into ideas, into sentences, okay? For example, we can say, I do homework. Okay? I revise my lessons. This is another way to succeed. I revise my lessons. So as you can see, subjects, verb and objects. Okay, we can also say I work with my friends. I read books. So as you can see here, what did we do? We broke this topic into ideas. Now here we can include something. For example, some other expressions. So we can say I do homework. You can say I always do homework. Always do homework. Here again, I revise my lessons, or we can say I always revise my lessons, or I revise my lessons every day. Okay, for example, every day. Okay, I work with my friends. We can say I sometimes, for example, work with my friends, etc., etc. So as you can see here, this has to do with present. Okay, the present. So the verb here is in present, as you can see. All right. So this is something that you can transform into a paragraph. Okay, so when you finish these, you can go to a paragraph. Now let's take another topic. This is number 1. Let's take number 2. Okay, birthday party. This is something to do with the past. Okay, with the past. So sentences. Okay, now you can pause and try to write sentences about your birthday party, for example, that you had in the past. Try to write sentences like we did here, okay? And we can do that together, okay? All right, so some sentences, for example, we can say I invited my friends. Invited with ed, this has to do with the past, okay? I invited my friends. We can say I got or received, or we can also say opened a lot of gifts. Okay, we can say we listened to music. Okay, the verb listen in the past. Okay, we can say, for example, we danced. We, for example, ate, for instance, cakes and sweets. So as you can see here, we have the verb ate. This is eat in the past. And we have danced. We can also have, for example, we drank cola and juice. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the verb drank. This is drink in the past. So we have to pay attention to the tense. For example, this is present. Success has to do with present. We are talking about present. I do, revise, work, read. but this one has to do with the past, okay, with the past. I invited in the past, got opened, listened, danced, ate, and drank. The past, because we are talking about a birthday party in the past, okay, in the past. All right, now here, these are just, okay, scrambled sentences. When you write paragraph, you can reorder the sentences in paragraph, but here in the brainstorming you just write sentences. Now let's talk about another topic. So this is number 1. Number 2, let's take number 3, for example, friend, to write a paragraph about your friend. Okay, so this is number 3. All right, for instance, he or she, it depends. For example, he is 18 years old. He lives in, for example, the city. For example, he lives in place, okay, he lives in, okay. He is, for example, here we can talk about some qualities. We can say he is, for instance, tall and strong. He or she likes, for instance, chatting online. We can say he doesn't like, for example, games, or he doesn't like going out, etc. So you can write other sentences, okay. As you can see, again, this has to do with the present, okay. We are talking about your friend in the present. He is, he lives, he is, and he likes the present, okay. Not like, for example, birthday party. That has to do with the past, okay. That has to do with the past, okay. So these are only examples of brainstorming. The most important thing that you have to pay attention to is verbs, okay. You have to pay attention to verbs, okay, to verbs. And when I talk about verbs here, I mean the tense, okay. Is it something related to present or past or future, okay. So this is very important thing to remember. For example, here we are talking about success. That has to do with present. You talk about your friend in present. But if you talk about your birthday party you had, that will be the past, okay. That will be the past. So you have to pay attention to the tense, and that is something that you can get when you understand the topic. When you understand the topic, you know the tense you are going to use, present or past. So this is very important thing that you have to focus on, the tense. And the tense has to do with verbs, okay, verbs, okay. All right, so when you finish this, when you finish brainstorming, you go to number 2, which is writing the paragraph, okay, which is writing the paragraph. What do we do in writing paragraph? What do we do after this? This is what we are going to see in the next episode. Please don't forget to practice, okay, to practice brainstorming. Take, for example, here we did success, friend, and birthday. Try to work on exercising, try to work on routine, family, for example, school, etc. Try to practice that again and again, like what we did here, okay. So when you practice this, that will be easier for you to write paragraphs, okay, to write paragraphs, okay. All right, so this is all for today's episode. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to let me know in a comment. See you in another episode. Have a good time and goodbye.